Bushwise Field Guides is an all-encompassing field guide course which gives any student huge experience. The idea is that they come with all-encompassing qualifications that they can hopefully get into a job.
The course that we offer is very, very comprehensive, and also we consult with the lodges themselves as to what they're looking for into their guides, and based on that we include that on our courses.
I love nature and I love working with people, so that's actually where my interest grew. I just want to do something or find a particular career in nature.
The students come to Bushwise, I think, not expecting the amount of knowledge they're going to get.
So our modules include things anywhere from geology of the area, climate, mammals, mammal calls, animal behavior.
We do advanced 4x4, we do presentation skills, we do rifle handling and shooting skills.
It's really nice that each week we got either one or a number of modules and then a test weekly, because then it did prepare us for the final Fugaza exam.
You know, you're continually learning. You're not just here in the classroom learning stuff, you're out and about in the bush.
And you're not just chasing after the big five, you're stepping in the trees and the flowers and all the little bugs and everything. So that was really awesome because I'm a visual learner and I have to see things to understand them.
I've learned a lot more than I thought I would be able to learn.
On the campus, we're trying to make it as comfortable as possible for the students, a home away from home.
Because it's not necessarily the easiest thing to come out as an international, but to have somewhere where you know that you'll be safe and with a lot of people that are doing the same thing with the same passion. I think for me that's what appealed me to it.
It's not you on your own struggling to understand something or remember something. Everyone is helping everyone.
With family, we become a family, and with the trainers, what I love about them, they're open. You're free to ask any question whenever you want.
We're teaching them concepts and tips and tricks and knowledge that we've gained over years and years and years.
I have more belief in myself. That's the thing that motivated me the most.
Being a guide or working at research entities, a big element, if not the biggest element, is actually working with people.
It's exciting because you get to tell people what they don't know at all, and seeing the faces like so surprised, like wow.
And I think our main goal is to create teachers which will be able to go out and actually keep conservation going.
That's one of the reasons why we have Bushwise. We try to not only train them as guides with a piece of paper, but for them to go out, be ambassadors, and be responsible and set an example.
A lot of jobs require you to have work experience, and without that often you aren't able to get jobs, so we offer the 6-month placement which enables people to work in the industry to really get that foot in the door.
So they give you like a jump start into the industry.
I can't wait now, I can't wait. I'm not looking forward to leaving this place, but that's when the real stuff begins.
Getting excited just thinking about it.
Awesome. Well, hi everyone, and a very warm welcome to our Bushwise Open Day. We're really thrilled that you could make some time to join us today and to be here. We have an amazing lineup of speakers who are very excited to chat to you, so I'm not going to waffle too much. I'm just quickly going to run through our lineup so you know what to expect. Let me share my screen with you quickly. Where we go? We go over here, and right. So this is our Bushwise Open Day. What you can expect today is a talk from our trainer Darryn Murray. It's basically going to be an overview on all of our Bushwise wildlife courses that are kind of in field on the ground, so anything that's not purely online. Then we're going to be hearing from one of our alumni, Danielle Kragenstein. She's Bushwise alumni, and she's going to be sharing about her Bushwise experience and how Bushwise helped launch her career. Then we're going to hear from Kim van Riemen, who is one of our Bushwise staff, and she's going to be speaking to us about our Bushwise online courses. So if you're not able to travel or to attend any courses in person, we do have online courses. She'll share about that with you. And then I will be doing a little wrap up at about 5 to 5 and telling you more about our special offer. Just a note that there's a Q&A box at the bottom of your screen, so please do pop any questions you have into that Q&A box. that would be fantastic. Try and avoid the chat box just because things can get a little messy there. Q&A box is really super helpful for us, and we'll be able to get back to your questions much faster that way. Special offer will land in your inbox at the end of this event. So do keep your eyes out for that, and that will contain all the contact details that you need, as well as all of the details on what the special offer is and how to take advantage of it. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to reply to that email, or to email kim@bushwise.co.za or alumni@bushwise.co.za. And I think that's about it for now. So let me just double check. Yes, so without further ado, I am going to hand over to you, Darryn. Are you here with us?
Hi all. All right, let me start sharing my screen quickly.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Darryn. Looking forward to your talk.
All right, good afternoon all. Welcome to the presentation. We're going to start off with a little bit of a quick meet the team on the ground. So we'll run you through a couple of the trainers and staff and the management team based at Bushwise. So we will start, sorry, a little bit of a technical glitch here, 1 second. There we go. So we'll start off with the management, Sophie, our founder, and then Eugene, the director up at senior management. We've then got Trevor, who is the general manager and also runs the online course. Sharon, our operations manager. She's like campus mom to most of us, including the staff. Then the first campus, the Southern African Wildlife College. Francois, the head trainer, and then myself, one of the trainers here. Our Mhlahla campus, closer to Gravelot. We've got Vaughan, the head trainer, as well as Niku and Wayne, two of his colleagues that side. And then our marketing team, Louise does social media and videography, and then Annie is our content writer doing blogs and the likes of. Right, Bushwise is the most comprehensive accredited professional field guide training provider in South Africa. The trainers alone here, we worked it out now recently, offer, it's a little over 100 years of experience between the 6 of us on the ground at the moment. So we'll have a look at the in-field courses that Bushwise provides. We've got 3 different courses: the Bushwise Professional Field Guide course, the Fagaza Field Guiding course and Conservation Careers internship, as well as the 35-day practical Fagaza course. We'll run over a couple of the differences between these 3 now. The Professional Field Guide course, comprehensive field guide course offered by Bushwise, with all of the short courses that are mentioned later on in the presentation, give the students an advantage when entering the guiding industry. We train prospective guides beyond the minimum for what they will require to pass the Fagaza, or Field Guides Association of Southern Africa, Apprentice Field Guide course. All of the extra courses and add-ons are a bonus for the students as they enter the workplace. This course is aimed at students over the age or above the age of 21, as they require a professional driving permit to drive a vehicle with guests once they've qualified. At the end of the course, students will be assisted in finding work placement as far as possible in a guiding or lodge-based environment. Right, so our next course start dates are the 7th of January and then the 8th of July, 2023. We're actually so confident in our offering a money-back guarantee to all South African students who complete the 23-week course and the placement. If you don't secure a job within 6 months of graduating, we'll return 50% of your course fees. Kim will talk a little bit more about the T's and C's around that. So that's just the professional field guiding course. Our second offering, the Conservation Careers internship, based pretty much the same around the first one. This course is basically aimed at students between 18 and 21 years of age. So the significant difference there is students under the age of 21 unfortunately cannot get a PDP or a professional driver's permit until they turn 21. So this will be a non-guiding placement. Placement for these students is likely to be on a conservation role such as field work, research, or monitoring of specific animals. All of these different experiences can be logged until the student turns 21 and can get a PDP, whereby they can then start guiding guests. Students under the age of 21 that pass the Trails Guide exam and attain the advanced rifle handling, we'll touch on that a little bit later, of the course will have the possibility of doing walking-based activities until they turn 21. So again, the same concept applies with the money-back guarantee as the first course. So it's all on there, same starting dates, 7th of January and the 8th of July, 2023. Then the 35-day practical Fugaza course. This is aimed at students that have self-studied the Fugaza Apprentice Field Guide program, written the exam and passed with a minimum of 75%. All of the Fugaza qualifications require a pass rate of 75%. The course focuses on preparing and assisting them with a practical component of the qualification, basically doing a 3-hour game drive assessment with a qualified assessor and guests. The course is designed to focus on time in the bush behind the wheel of a game viewer. The trainers will assist with the preparation of the students leading up to the practical game drive to complete the Apprentice Field Guide qualification. Major focuses of this course are animal behavior interpretation, vehicle positioning and sightings, and how to convey information to guests. In short, how to guide guests on a safari. The next course starts on the 7th of January as well, and again on the 8th of July. Right, so let's just touch on a couple of the qualifications that are included in the Bushwise course. The students complete the Apprentice Field Guide theory exam and practical during their time with us at Bushwise. The Fugaza Trails theory exam will also be written towards the end of the course. The qualification is now known as the Apprentice Field Guide, or NQF2. It used to be known as the Fugaza Level 1. That has since changed to the Apprentice Field Guide. All of these qualifications are CAT-CETA registered. We then offer quite a large number of different short courses. So all the students through the 6-month program, the 23-week program, go through first aid training with Smart Solutions. We do social media, we do photography, hospitality training. There's a basic reptile handling course with the Hoedspruit Reptile Center. 4x4 basic driving and mechanics, tire changing, safety around a high lift jack. That's very important. All the parts that are necessary on a guided experience. We also have astronomy training with Celestial Events hosted by Ben Coley. CACETA firearms training with Letaba tactical firearm training. Advanced rifle handling, track and sign and trailing courses with Colin Patrick training. Further practical trails experience after the course offered by Lowveld Trails Co. This is separate from Bushwise. That runs concurrently at the end of the course. So the advanced rifle handling component of the course is basically where we teach the students, young prospective guides, how to safely handle a firearm. Very important component that we offer. Advanced rifle handling is a shooting qualification. So once the Fugaza Trails Guide theory exam has been completed, they can then complete the advanced rifle handling qualification. Composed of 6 exercises that test the accuracy with a minimum of a .375 caliber bolt action rifle, whereby we train you how to use and pass the assessment. Any guide that is wanting to go into the trails guiding or walking aspect of this is imperative. Right, a little bit about student life. So no 2 days are ever the same. Whether it's a game drive in the morning or a bushwalk in the morning, it starts off pretty early, anywhere between 5:30 and 6:30 a.m. What we try and do is train the students to be as ready as possible for the industry that they're entering into. This includes having a clean vehicle, doing vehicle checks, preparing a hot box for the drinks, for the stops during the activities, welcoming guests as you would as though they are guests and not just fellow colleagues, doing safety briefings, and finally conducting the activity with a FAGASA qualified trainer by their side to assist and mentor them through the process. Lectures are done after activities to prepare the students for the tests and exams they will write throughout the course. During the daily activities, the trainers guide and assist the students through how to become a field guide, allowing them more and more freedom each day to allow them to develop their own style. Just a little bit on the two campuses. So at the moment, we have a campus at the Southern African Wildlife College, as well as the Mhlahla campus. So the Mhlahla campus is located close to Gravelot, and the Southern African Wildlife College is close to the Open Gate in the Kruger National Park. Weekend activities, Saturday morning, so we actually did quite a nice one this morning, spent recapping the week's lectures, question and answer sessions, quizzes, and other fun activities to help the students pass and prepare for the tests and exams. The rest of the weekend is now downtime. Some of the students have actually gone into the Kruger today, some have gone for lunch in town, and others are spending time by the pool. So these are some of our past students in action, walking around campus, learning trees, doing birding related activities, having a bit of fun out in the bush, camp life, creating a bit of a cooking session where we actually had a potjie course competition. All right, from me, that is the presentation. If there are any questions, please pop them along now.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Darryn. Really appreciate that. We have had a few questions, so I'm just going to read them out to you. I'd love to get your input. So the first one is, I think the question is, do we provide placements outside of Limpopo?
Yes. So placements are, at the moment, we've got placement partners in KwaZulu-Natal. We've got placement partners in Mpumalanga, Limpopo. There is options for the Northwest coming open shortly, I believe. So we do try as best as possible to try and link the student with a lodge that is going to make the perfect fit.
Awesome, fantastic. And I've got a second question here. I'm going to read it out to you. I'm a former member of SANDF, Honorable Discharge, have firearm proficiency with light arms and experience with border deployment, extensive field training. I'm under 30 and work in the legal industry. I'm interested in changing my career permanently. Which course would you advise I undertake? What advice could you offer for someone in my position? What career prospects and opportunities are available in this field?
Okay, so yeah, you're well along the path there. The rifle competencies and everything like that do make life quite easy. Look, any one of the courses, well, obviously option one, the 23-week course would be a very good option, as that is the most in-depth course that you're going to have. Likewise, the same with the 35-day course. It just depends on your time availability. But further than that, shoot a couple of questions towards Kim. I'm sure she'll be able to help you along there with pricings and things like that. And then it's really down to you. I would suggest the 23-week course, because that will obviously prepare you and well round you to go into the industry. And then the placement option will come after that.
Awesome, thank you. Questions are flying in now. So if you all watching and listening do have questions, please do feel free to pop them into the Q&A box. We have quite a bit of time for questions today, dedicated to questions, because I think that's really where the value lies in these events. So we have a question from Joachim. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I'm sorry if I'm not. The question says, hello, what is the big difference between 23 weeks and 50 weeks for the Bushwise Professional Field Guide course, apart from the duration?
Okay, so the 23-week is the training time that you spend on the ground with us on a campus. The 50-week encompasses the placement period after the 23-week training. It's then another 23 weeks of placement with 4 weeks of off time, so to speak, in between.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And then we've got a question here from Zoe. Zoe wants to know, do I need any relevant qualifications or experience to apply? If so, please can you advise? I'm based in the UK. Thank you.
So Zoe, hi. No, you don't need any prior experience to this. You can be a complete novice, rock up here with very little experience. We start from the very beginning and we put all the building blocks in place so that by the time you leave after the 23 weeks that you have a better understanding and all the certification and qualifications to be a guide.
Fantastic. Thanks, Darryn. Right, we've got another question from Roxana. I think I'm saying that right. She has a follow-up to her previous question. She wants to know if it would be possible, would that, okay, hold on, what was her previous question? She wants to know that, would that be possible even if they are international, and how easy is it for them to get into Bushwise? So I'm just going to find your previous question. Oh, do all the placements work outside of Limpopo? So I think the question is it possible do we provide international placements, and how easy is it for us to provide these placements?
So yeah, we have started with international placements. We've got a placement partner in Namibia at the moment. How the exact workings of that, Kim will probably have to give you the exact specifics on that. Give you a little bit more on how the placement and things work. I think she touches on that a little bit later on.
Awesome, fantastic. We've got another question here from Anonymous. Will the course prepare students for conservation works outside of South Africa?
So conservation as a whole is being taught. We also do sort of short conservation as well as responsible resource utilization as one of the components on the course, to try and give sort of a broad spectrum understanding of what conservation and different conservation practices are. How it would relate to, I'm not exactly sure where in the world you're talking about, but I'm sure that they would be more or less the same and prepare you the same for wherever you are using them.
Cool.
Can I jump in here quickly?
Please.
Great. So this is actually something that we ask some of our alumni that did go and work in wildlife careers outside of outside of South Africa, because I wanted to be able to answer questions like that. The type of skills that you'll be learning on the course is a lot of animal behavior. It might not be the same animals in that country, but like mammals, reptiles in general, they have the similar behavior. So that would definitely be a transferable skill that you could learn. The other transferable skills that you could learn are things like tracking and trailing. That is really, really helpful in any kind of research, monitoring, anti-poaching, guiding wildlife career. And then, of course, general things like situational awareness, climate, survival skills, orientation, that you'll all be learning on the course, which will help you in any kind of wildlife conservation career.
Awesome. Thanks, Kim. Great, we have a question here from Gerald from Zim, currently based in South Africa. Gerald would like to, my question disappeared. Basically, Gerald would like to train as a field guide, but only online. And he would like to know if this is possible.
Yes.
I'll be,
yes,
sorry,
Kim,
Darryn, I'm going to interrupt you now. Any online questions, I think let's hold on for those later on, because a lot of those answers are going to happen during the online presentation. If I haven't answered any questions that you want that have been asked now, please ask them again and I'll be sure to answer. But all these online questions will definitely be answered in a little while to come.
Awesome. Thanks, Kim. So Gerald, you will have to stay with us for the next little while. We'll go into a lot more detail about that later. Questions from Sharon. Sharon would like to know, well, she says she's considering a career change to the conservation and possibly to move into the conservation and possibly tourism industry. She would like us to help her identify which transferable skills she has to determine the most appropriate division of the conservation industry to aim for. Is that something that we could help with?
So yeah, Depending on where and what sort of industry she's coming from at the moment, people skills are a very good one. Obviously, because coming into the ecotourism business, you're dealing with people. Although a lot of people want to think that we're just dealing with animals, what we're doing is training guides how to deal and how to work with people so that they are transferring people skills more so than anything else, because dealing with people is how you get the message across. So depending on what kind of transferable skills you're referring to, maybe just drop us another comment there and just let us know what sort of career background you're coming from, and we'll see how further or better to answer that.
Awesome, thanks, Darren. And Sharon, just to note that if and when you do call in, you'll be chatting to Kim, and Kim would be more than happy to chat with you with regard to kind of what your experience is and make suggestions or provide guidance as to which Bushwise courses would make the most sense for you based on your previous experience, as well as your interests and kind of the direction you would like to go in. So I would encourage you to kind of stay tuned, but also just have that conversation with Kim when you do phone in. She's super, super helpful and would love to chat to you, I'm sure. Then we have another question from Anonymous, who says, as a prospective international student, do you still offer a money-back guarantee element if unsuccessful in finding a position in the industry? Also, would you say that internationals are still on a fairly even playing field when compared to South African students? So perhaps a question for you, Kim, actually. Unless
yes, I would love to answer this one, because this one is actually so important to us, especially with the ambitions that certain internationals have and preconceived ideas and the thought that they can come and do this course and get a job in South Africa. Unfortunately, the reality and the truth is that you would not be able to qualify for the employment guarantee. This is strictly only for South Africans between 21 and 39, and it is also based on statistics. Unfortunately, our government has decided to change our visa and work visa laws the last few years, making it more and more difficult for internationals to get that secured in South Africa. And what we thought would be a good idea was to gather all of the statistics of our internationals so we could actually put a figure to it to make it more realistic. So the offers for internationals are really good. Actually, about 70% of our international students have been offered some kind of opportunity in South Africa during their work placement, which is pretty good. Unfortunately, only between 10 and 30% at certain times. So I say maybe an average of 20% of the international students was successful in getting a secured visa. And that's for various reasons. It could have been because of their prior work experience, any additional skills that they had to offer, any additional degrees or qualifications, and those kind of things. Then if the work visa was not an option, there are other visa options you can look at. There's a visitor's visa with the opportunity to work for 3 years and extend for a further 3 years. There's a critical skills visa if you have a certain qualification for critical skills. There's a exchange visa for under 21s, which is valid for a year. I believe that actually recently the volunteer visa option has been stopped, but I haven't got confirmation of that. But there is also a volunteer visa option. And this is generally for companies that should get an opportunity that are NGOs, that should work as a staff member, but it's a non-profit organization. So there are alternative options. But for internationals, I always say that you should have a plan B, plan C, and a plan D. So plan B would to obviously try and find work outside of South Africa in maybe another African country. Plan C would be trying to look for other wildlife-related careers in other countries. FOGASA is recognized as a valuable qualification in terms of the training you get in other countries, even though it's not officially recognized. And then we've had some of our international students go back to their home countries and start working with companies that are taking tourists into Africa and South Africa and offer your services as a private guide. So they would then work together with that company and accompany those big groups into South Africa, being able to speak maybe the home language of those people and understand the culture and things, and join them for that safari in South Africa. That has been something our internationals have been able to do. But don't bind yourself to just field guiding. remember, you can take the skills that you've learned on our course and apply it to any kind of wildlife career. You'll definitely have transferable skills. And then also, not to mention, the experience that you're going to have in this year that you're with us in South Africa is something that it sounds very cliched, but it is something you'll never forget, and it's once in a lifetime opportunity. So it wouldn't be, say, a waste of time or money. That experience will live with you truly forever, and you'll have bonding experience with friends and fellow students for life, really.
Great. Thank you, Kim. That's really, I think, really insightful, and I think probably something a lot of people tuning in today would like to know. So thank you very much. I see we have more questions from Sharon, follow up to her previous question. So Sharon is looking for a career change. She is coming from corporate and she has dealt with compliance and with auditing, working in the auditing field. She says ISO certification, compliance, and auditing. So based on the skills that one would develop in that career, Darryn, maybe a question for you. What would the transferable skills be that someone like Sharon would have and be able to use in a kind of a conservation focused career?
So coming from sort of a corporate background, you do have a certain set of people skills. You have an understanding of how businesses work. So that is often very good, especially in the guiding industry. So if you're going in, planning on going that way, there's also quite a big market and depending on what side of the guiding industry you're wanting to go into. In the lodge industry more so, actually carrying on with certification, compliance, auditing, things like that in the lodges. But having any sort of skill like that where you've worked with people in a corporate environment is very useful. How to communicate, emails, things like that. So there's a lot of things that can be linked with what you have done to what you're going to be doing in the guiding industry.
Great, thank you, Darryn. Okay, we don't have any new questions at the moment, but I'm going to give it some time because I'm sure that there are more people with questions. So if anyone does have questions, please pop them in the Q&A box. A couple of questions from me, Darryn, just I think I assume that people might want to know. I guess my first one would be a very practical one. What is the food like on campus? How does that work in terms of like living and food and that sort of thing?
Okay, so we've got a kitchen that has got an urn as well as muesli, rusks and things like that for the early morning starts. So like breakfast, good cup of coffee in the morning before the activity. Once we return from the morning walk or game drive or lecture, there's a hearty brunch at about 11 or 12 o'clock, depending on the day. And then dinner is at 6 o'clock. It's a sit-down meal each time, brunch and dinner, a good hearty plate of food. And then there's always coffee and tea and rusks and the likes of for those that need midnight snacks.
Great. And who does the cooking?
So each campus, both the Southern African Wildlife College and the Mhlahla campus, we have got a team of very, very good chefs in the kitchen, hard at work all day, every day, making sure that we're all well fed and looked after. So yeah, and it's a really good menu, a home cooked meal every afternoon, every evening. So the food is really, really good.
Great. And what is the Wi-Fi like on base?
So as to be expected out in the bush, really, where we're based, it has had ups and downs, or it can be a little temperamental at times. There is Wi-Fi on both campuses, but just bearing in mind with strong wind and big rainstorms and things like that, it does tend to drop a little bit. The Southern African Wildlife College has got generators in place, but even still with the load shedding and things like that, we do lose Wi-Fi from time to time, but there is cell phone signal on both bases as well.
Great. Do you, no, never mind. I was, yeah, I think half of our audience is probably South African today. Do you want to touch on just very briefly what load shedding is for those who don't know?
Okay, so at the moment in South Africa, the power grid is a little bit strained, I suppose. And so from time to time, we lose power in certain areas. That does interrupt communications and the likes of. So at the moment, yeah, we struggle along with that, but we carry on.
Yeah, so yeah, load shedding generally takes place for about 2 hours at a time, and it really does keep us on our toes. So if we do speak about load shedding and you're based somewhere like Sweden and you're like, what on earth is that? It's just planned power outages, which can affect things like Wi-Fi and that sort of thing. Darryn, another question from me. What would be one piece of advice you would give to somebody kind of who's thinking about doing a Bushwise course kind of on the ground in field?
Do it. It's the greatest 6 months you will ever experience. The friendships you build, the amazing experiences you have, yeah, it's unreal. Come and do it quickly. Book now.
Awesome. We do have a couple more questions here. We've got a question from
See, we're getting a couple now. Yeah.
Dominique would like to know if there is a gym, which is a fantastic question. She is very into fitness, so it would be awesome to have access to a gym.
So we have got, look, it's not a Virgin Active or the likes of. It is a rather primitive gym, but we have got facilities available for that. We've also, on both campuses, there's plenty enough space to go jogging and the likes of. So you're not completely confined in a small area. The Southern African Wildlife College has got a 2-kilometer running track around it. The Mhlahla campus is 400 hectares that you can jog around the fences. So, and it's all completely fenced in and safe. So yeah, no, there is plenty place for fitness and exercise and the likes of.
Fantastic. And that actually takes me to another question that I wanted to ask. What safety measures are in place kind of on campus, considering that it's, you know, you're exposed to the bush, and with that comes, you know, some risk because wildlife are wild. Yeah, what safety and security measures are in place?
So each campus is fenced in. It's electrified fencing right around the campus. Look, there's always an element where an animal could get through the fence or get over the fence or under the fence, but patrols are done on the fences, especially here where I'm based at the Southern African Wildlife College. There's a team that goes around and checks the fences every morning or every second day or so, just to make sure that there aren't any things trying to get in to where they're not supposed to be. But the fences and the entire area of where the students are based is well secured. There's electrified fencing. We've got an electrified cattle grid to stop the animals sort of just walking through the gate and into the area. So yeah, they're all well looked after. As well as the thing of having so many people moving around on the ground, animals are less likely to want to come and interfere with where we are at the moment.
Awesome. I have another question I want to ask off the back of that, but we do have a question from Matt. And Matt would like to know, let me just get the gist of this. Are there any specific grants or programs that he could look into to help fund the course fee as a UK student? Do you perhaps have any ideas about this? Or Kim, do you want to jump in there?
I actually did just answer Matt, but Amanda, I actually think you would probably be the better person to ask, having more connection to GVI. I know they do a bit of fundraising ideas for students, and you also do have a lot of UK students doing your programs. For now, I'm not very much familiar with any kind of company that would give funding or grants to UK students, but what I'm going to do is I've got a few UK students that are alumni as well as current students, and I'm going to ask them if they know anything, and then I'll email you later, Matt. But maybe you can talk a little bit more about the fundraising, Amanda.
Awesome. So Matt, I would encourage you to, I also work across a different brand, GVI, which is a sister organization to Bushwise, and a lot of our participants come from the UK. I would suggest chatting to your careers office at your university. A lot of universities do offer grants that can cover this sort of thing. I'm not very clued up on the Santander grant, but I know that there is one, and I know that a lot of our GVI students have used that. So that would be another one to look into. And then there is also a fundraising option. So just setting up a fundraiser online and just letting kind of everyone you know that this is something that you really want to do. And I think that fundraising is such a beautiful way to go about doing something like this, because it really, people want to help people. And sometimes people, for like birthdays or Christmas or whatever, people like don't know what to get. And so you don't want to create more stuff. And people are moving towards giving sustainable gifts like experiences and that sort of thing. So I would encourage you, if you aren't able to find anything like a university grant or anything that is able to help you fund this program, setting up a fundraiser and just being really honest with people. I think you'd be surprised how people do want to help and love the idea of giving a gift that kind of keeps on giving. It's an education, it's an experience, it's giving back, it's investing in conservation, it's investing in this planet. So that's how I would tackle it. I hope that, I'm sorry that's not super clear, but I hope that helps to give you a little bit of direction. Right, let's see if we have any other questions. Great question, I think Kyla. Kyla here, what does the accommodation and sleeping arrangements entail? Darryn, would you be able to give us a little more information about how that is structured and what that looks like?
So let me just shoot back a couple of slides on my presentation. Hopefully that's still up. Let's just see. All right, so the Southern African, or let's start with Mhlahla. Mhlahla, the students are in sort of rondavels. You can see a little bit in this picture. Let's see, maybe there's one more. Where was it? There we go. On the left-hand side, a rondavel, 2 people sharing a room. The South African Wildlife College, we've actually just at the beginning of this course moved over onto safari tents. So it's not your primitive 3 by 3 meter tent. It's actually got a built-in bathroom, shower basin, toilets, running water, and there are 3 people. It's quite a large tent. I think it's about a 6 meter by 3 meter or 8 meter by 3 meter tent. Covered canvas. It's actually got a sunroof over the top, basically to protect the canvas from the sun. So yeah, that's the current living accommodation that we've got for the students between the 2 campuses.
Snazzy. Sounds pretty good, actually. I'm keen to sign up. Cool. We've got another question from Kyla also. Kyla would like to know what the difference is between the 2 campuses, and how do you choose your preference? Are you assigned to a campus, and how does that work?
I think this is a Kim question. We get the students on the ground. We train those who come to us. Kim, I think that's you.
Yes. Okay, great. So the campuses are very similar in terms of the surroundings and the atmosphere, and you are immersed in the bush and all of that. So the main differences really comes down to the facilities, what they look like, and where the practical training happens. Mhlahla practical training happens on the Makalali Private Game Reserve, where the Southern African Wildlife College, or we refer to as SORC for short, you do your practical training in the Greater Kruger. But the campuses itself, like Darryn just said, it's the accommodation. So the bungalows or rondavels, attached rooms, is at Mhlahla, where the tented camps are at the Southern African Wildlife Campus. But on both campuses, there are communal dining rooms. There's a communal classroom, and lovely recreational areas. There's pools on both campuses. There's boma areas on both campuses. So they are very similar. The schedule and the type of training and how we do the training is exactly the same. Students do not get to choose which campus they go to. It is a random draw closer to the start date. And if there is a big kind kind of question as to why you don't want to go on that certain campus. Once allocations are made, we'll take that into consideration. But the experiences that both students have on either campuses are amazing.
Great, thanks, Kim. Joachim, I'm so sorry if I'm saying this wrong, has another question. Joachim says that they're an animal caretaker and will start a 2-year training program for a veterinary assistant diploma. They would therefore like to know how far in advance they have to book the Bushwise Professional Field Guide course training. So I guess the question is, how far in advance should one be booking the Bushwise Professional Field course training?
I do believe this is probably another one for Kim. She'll touch on the bookings and sales and things like that in her presentation in a little bit. So I think let's hang on to that one until Kim comes around to that, and I'm sure she'll get onto that one as well.
Great, thanks. And on the note of, we tend to get this question quite often, and fair, it's a good one. We have a question from Dominique about malaria. So are the campuses well equipped in protecting students from malaria?
Yeah, so the rooms on both campuses are closed. They have mosquito netting on the windows. We do also encourage the students to bring along a bed mosquito net that they can hang from the roof. And then there is Peaceful Sleep or mosquito spray that is on campus all the time. We take it on all the activities with it. I actually carry it in my backpack for all the activities that we do. And then medication-wise and things like that, that'll be down to personal preference.
Cool. And in terms of the breakdown of students, how would you, in terms of like international students versus like local South African students, what is the breakdown roughly in terms of how many people you have of each, participants we have of each on our programs?
So at the okay, Kim, do you want to grab that one?
Well, I think let me let you start with the amount of students that you are working with on campus, and then I'll tell you what the basic average is, or our statistics, because we do keep record of that quite a bit.
So at the moment at the Southern African Wildlife College, we have a 50-50 split. We've got 18 students here. 9 of them are international and 9 are South African.
Yeah, so basically, over the time that I've been with Bushwise, 7 years with 2 courses per year, our average split is about 70% South African, 30% internationals. The internationals that are joining us are ones that are wanting to get into a wildlife career or field guiding. They either come with some kind of working experience, degree or diploma, or plan to go back and obtain something to that effect. So all the students that we get, regardless of where they're from, have career ambitions into wildlife. That is the most important thing and the common denominator with all of our students.
Great, thank you, Kim. Possibly another question for you. Again, going back to kind of how far in advance should one be booking, is there a cut-off date by which somebody would need to join either for, let's say, for example, January next year?
So there are no cutoff dates when you can book and how far in advance you book, or how close you can book towards the start date. It's really based on availability. Obviously, booking further in advance secures your place. And also, if you're paying for a course in 2024, even 2025, the current rates that are advertised, if you secure your spot now, will apply. You won't need to have those rates increase later on. And then we have had students that have booked 2 weeks before a start date. So there is really no cutoff date, but I would recommend students book anything between 6 to 9 months in advance. There's a lot you need to prepare for and do. And there's also the 12-week online course that is included for free for students that join us for the 6 or 12-month course. So giving yourself at least 3 months to do that online course will be very, very valuable to you.
Awesome. And is there any sort of limitation in terms of numbers that we accept per course?
No, we don't have any limited numbers. We are expanding. We have got 2 beautiful campuses that can take quite a large capacity. Regardless of the size of the group, I think it's important for people to understand and know that within the bigger group, there are smaller groups. For example, you can only take a certain amount of people on a vehicle. So if you're worried about the size of Bushwise or how many students we actually take, that you want to be in a smaller group and more intimate and more one-on-one, we do offer that kind of training, especially when it comes to practical. The only time that you're really in a bigger group is during lectures and group activities like first aid training. But on the practical training, it's between 7 and 9 students per group, and you rotate between the trainers, which gives them a little bit of insight to everything and where they come from and their expertise.
Fantastic. Thank you for clarifying. Another question from Mark, who's actually just finished a GVI project in Thailand. Yay. Mark would like to know how much experience he needs to be able to do a Bushwise program. I'm assuming the Bushwise field guiding program. Mark, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, so again, between the professional field guiding course and the 35-day course, if you're coming here for the professional field guiding course, you need little to no experience. Obviously, any bit of experience will help, but we can train you up on all of that. If you're coming for the 35-day course, then we need you to have done the Field Guides Association of Southern Africa, or FGASA, the apprentice field guide exam. You can do that online. And then we can do the practical training with you on site. So, yeah.
Great. Thanks so much, Darryn. And would you be able to just remind us exactly what the 35-day course entails? So what the difference is between doing your FGASA online and the 35-day versus doing the 6 months versus doing 1 year?
So with a 35-day course, the students would have already attained the theoretical component of it, which you can do online. But in order to complete the qualification, there is a practical component, which is a game drive of at least 3 hours with a FGASA assessor. So in the 35 days, we take these prospective students, we train them up, and that's a pretty intensive course because you've got 35 days to basically teach them about vehicle placements, driving skills, all of that, in order to help them complete and pass the practical component to complete the entire qualification.
Great. Thank you so much. Another really good question. I'm surprised we actually haven't had this question any sooner. Are any vaccinations required to be able to do the Bushwise field guiding program?
Depending on where you come from in the world, they recommend that there's certain vaccinations that are taken before coming. Yeah, I'm not too clued up exactly on whereabouts in the world and what exactly is needed. Kim, maybe you can offer some assistance there?
Yeah, so no specific vaccinations other than COVID is one of the requirements to book with us. If you choose to have a rabies vaccination, that's totally, again, up to you. But there's no mandatory vaccinations that are required for you to come to South Africa. But the requirement for Bushwise is that you have your COVID vaccination.
Great, thank you, Kim. Awesome. So I don't think we have any questions that we haven't yet answered. We do have a couple more minutes before our next talk is scheduled. So I'm going to take a moment to hop in there with one of my questions. Darryn, I heard about something that I believe the students get to do while they're doing a Bushwise field guiding program, and that was a sleep out.
You read my blog. All
which
right.
sounded very interesting and like a lot of fun. Could you tell us a little bit more about that, please?
Right. So I've actually just written a blog about it. It's gone up, I think it was yesterday or the day before, on the Bushwise website. I think it's called the 5,000 star. Yeah, our marketing ladies gave it a really cool title, the 5,000 star experience or something like that. So what we do is we basically, with the group of students that we have at any time, we go out into the bush. We actually spend a night sleeping under the stars. Everyone is perfectly safe. We've got the cars quite close by. Each of the trainers has a rifle with them just in case. We've got a little campfire for some ambiance, and we take it in turns to do an hour-long watch, basically a security watch. But all the details of that are in my blog. So if you'd like to go and have a gander through the web page a little bit later on, it is probably the newest blog up there. All the details and bits and pieces are on there. Really nice experience to go and sleep under the stars and listen to the sounds of hyenas in the distance. We've had elephants come to investigate what's happening. So lots of cool things happening on the sleep outs.
Fantastic. Thank you. I've actually just popped a link to that blog in the chat. So if anyone would like to check that out, they're welcome to. Kim, I believe there's something you want to share with us.
Yeah, I think this is something really, really important for all the internationals that are listening to this open day. There's going to be lots of different courses that you can do for field guiding in South Africa, lots of different durations, lots of different options. There's something really, really important. It comes down to what we refer to as a public driver's permit. Darryn did touch on it in terms of the age of being 21 that you can get it. But it's also very important for the internationals to understand that we are the only training provider that actively help our internationals obtain their public driver's permit. The importance of the public driver's permit helps students register as field guides and be able to then move on to do 6-month guiding placements, actively behind the wheel, guiding real guests. If you are doing research and looking around at other options, please make sure you ask that right question to other training providers, because without that, you will not be able to guide. And I think that's one of the biggest differences between us and others, in that we guarantee that, and we can definitely help all of the internationals get that. It is so, so, so important.
Fantastic. Thank you, Kim. And such a great point to flag, I think, so valuable. Couple more questions. We've got 2 minutes left before our next talk. Roxana would like to know, are there any placements that train you kind of in the field of, in the research field? Darryn, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, so with the placement and research things, depending on where you go on your placement, we communicate this at length with each student individually, depending on what their aims and what their likes and dislikes and sort of the career path they're intending to go after Bushwise, whether it be into research or conservation or actually into guiding. And then the placement partner is then matched to what you would like to do as far as possible. So you then go off to one of our placement partners on the Makalali Game Reserve, for example, is a really good one. They work with elephants alive. They work with the pangolin projects. They are working with monitoring elephants and cheetah and big cats and a whole variety of other things. So yeah, in terms of research, if that was the way you're wanting to go, there are placements that you can go and sort of combine with a research team and help them actually gather data for that.
Fantastic. Yeah, I think it's something that's worth noting is kind of, as Darryn was saying, kind of throughout the 6 months, your trainers and the Bushwise staff will get to know you and understand your passions and your goals for the future, as well as your strengths and your personality, and really try very hard to kind of pair you up with a placement or get you a placement that is best suited to you. Obviously, that benefits our placement partners and that it benefits you. So that's also something to kind of just be mindful of, keep in mind. And we've got, I think this is a great question to wrap up with for now. Question from Jared. Jared would like to know what makes Bushwise different to any other company offering Fugasa field guide courses. So Kim, you actually recently just touched on this with regards to the PDP.
Yeah, so I think, you know, you're going to find a lot of companies saying, you know, we're the best, most experienced, been around the longest, and it's all fine and well, but not one person can actually say who's the best training provider, because you don't have one person doing all 20 different courses, right? You can only go on statistics, really. And how we do that is we actually have taken the time to measure those statistics so that there is some meat to what we are saying. We're not just saying that we are the most comprehensive, that we are the most successful, or that we have the highest pass rate. We actually can back that up with our statistics that we've worked really hard to obtain. So we think that we are different to other training providers in that our course is the most comprehensive. It's the one-stop shop, which means you're actually having the most value for money. And the other thing that we are very, very proud of is that we actually had 100% employment offer rate for our South Africans between 21 and 39 post-COVID. Unfortunately, during COVID, that went down, but we still have an 80% employment offer rate. And hopefully it's going to pick up again soon. Then we were able to measure our pass rate compared to other training providers, which was the highest 6 years in a row. Unfortunately, those statistics have been taken off of the FAGASA website since. And then our average pass rate for our students is 88%, which is quite high. But not only that, I think the biggest thing is that we pride ourselves on our reputation in the industry. The fact that half of the students that are on our current course came from word of mouth, people telling them about Bushwise, which goes to show what people think of our type of students that we produce, the training that we do. You know, we really work hard to maintain professionalism and high quality training. So I think that's the biggest differences. The fact that we can offer employment recruitment services to our alumni, the fact that we offer 50% money back guarantee, which no other training provider offers, I think is a testament to how successful you'll be if you do our course at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Kim. Great. Well, I am going to move on to our next presentation. Darryn, huge thank you for your presentation and for being here to chat with us and to answer a lot of questions. We have a very engaged audience today, which is very exciting. So huge thank you. You're welcome to stay on and continue answering questions if you like. You're also welcome to log off.
Thanks very much. I will be around to answer any more questions. I'll be hanging around the Q&A block and we'll see if there's any more questions and we'll take it from there. All right, have a good one.
Thanks, Darryn. All right, and so I am going to move on to our next presentation, which is actually pre-recorded because our alumnus Danielle, who gave this presentation, is currently working on safari. She's doing game drives. Saturday afternoons are very busy with tourists, so she was unable to be here today, but we do have a recording, so I'm going to play that now. Any questions that you do have, please continue to pop them in the Q&A box down below. We will continue answering questions throughout Danielle's presentation, and then we'll have another 10 minutes after her presentation to answer your questions live and in person before we move on to our final presentation from Kim, and she's going to be speaking about Bushwise Online. So let me share my screen quickly. This is always a thing, no matter how many times you've done it. Right, there we go. Okay, I think you should be able to see that now. And I'm going to play.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Danielle Gravenstein, and I will be your Bushwise alumnus speaking for today. First of all, I just would like to apologize for not being here live. I have guests at the moment. Currently, I am out on safari while you're listening to this, but I made a short presentation for you, and we'll go through that now together. Just hold on one moment while I share my screen with you. There we go. Perfect. So yeah, Danielle Gravenstein. So a little bit about myself. I grew up in Volksrust and I matriculated from Volksrust High School in 2016. In 2017, I studied photography through Tina School's Academy. And then in 2021, I obtained my marketing and tourism bachelor's degree through the Northwest University. So I've always had a passion for the bush, and I knew I wanted to do something in the bush. And with my photography background, I love doing wildlife photography. Me and my parents would visit the Kruger National Park, and literally anytime we got the chance, we would visit the Kruger National Park. So I knew I wanted to do something in the bush, even if it's lodge management or a receptionist or anything. I knew I wanted to be in the bush. Yes, so Bushwise gave me the perfect opportunity to live out my dream. So I first started with the Bushwise online course. So during lockdown in 2020, while I was still finishing my BCom studies online, I had a lot of free time on my hands. And I was scrolling through social media one day, and a Bushwise post came on my feed about their new online course. So it didn't take me very long to sign up for the course. And at first, I just did it to keep myself busy during lockdown. But as we progressed through the course, I realized that this is something that I want to do. And I signed up for the second course as well. And then eventually I ended up applying for the 6 months practical as well. So with the online course, we went through all the FOGASA modules. We wrote tests after every module. We wrote a big test at the end of the week. And then eventually we did write our FOGASA level 1 test. Doing the online course before I did my 6 months practical, it just made me feel so much more comfortable and prepared to what to expect in the bush. It just gave me that little bit of extra knowledge that I needed to go out in the bush. So my classmates on the online course were all over the world, and it was so nice to meet all different nationalities and to share that same passion that we have for the wildlife with other people. I still have some contact with some of them as well. So I would really recommend the online course if you are in another country and you have a big passion for South African bush, but you just can't get here yet. I really do recommend the online course to start with, and then also doing your practical after that. So in my Bushwise course started in January 2021, and I started my 6 months course with 17 other students. So the course kicked off with the trainers giving us a lesson on how to use the land cruisers, how to drive around safely, because a lot of us didn't have experience with driving around such big vehicles. Most of us, some of us were from different nationality or different country, and they drive on the other side of the road. So the trainers went through everything with us to teach us how to be the best driver that we could be. And we quickly became confident in ourselves, and we were on the roads in the bush guiding our fellow classmates in no time. We started with the basic knowledge as a base to build on later in the course as we progressed through the course. So we progressed through the course, going through each module in the FOGASA handbook very, very thoroughly. We wrote tests every week to monitor our progress through the course and to prepare us as well for the big FOGASA level 1 exam. So this is something that Bushwise really, really make sure they do is to prepare us for that very big exam at the end. Going through each module, if you need to go through it more than once, they always put in that extra little bit to help us. So how our day normally looked like was early mornings and late afternoons. We will go on drives to implement what we learned in class and from our trainers, and get more confident in driving people around, and also working on our soft skills. So that's what we did in the mornings and the afternoons. Between the drives, we had class, so we went through part of a FOGASA module or the whole module. We had class, we had questions, we had to fill out our workbook. So you have a very big FOGASA workbook that you have to fill out. So we worked through that. If you had any questions, you'd ask the trainers and they'll help you with anything that you need. But luckily it wasn't all study and driving around. We also had a lot of time to relax and have some fun on weekends as well. So we had a swimming pool on our property, and that kept us very cool during the hot summer days. It provided a lot of fun for everyone. And then we also went on sleep outs, sleeping under the stars. A lot of us haven't experienced that before. It was my first time experiencing that. And it's just amazing to sleep under the stars, and you hear the night sounds, and you hear a hyena calling or a lion roaring or something. And it's just amazing to experience it with 17 other students that also have a passion for the wildlife. It was just an amazing experience. So yeah, during the 6 months, lifetime friendships was formed. I've met some of my best friends during this course. After our first leave, so they do prepare you, try to get you into a cycle. So you'd normally go 4 weeks on and then have a week rest. And so after our first leave, we were granted the opportunity to start walking with our trainers out in the bush, just as participants, to see how we do the walks and everything. And there's actually, you learn so much more from the walking. You go into the little details, the dung beetles, the trees, plants, flowers, insects, even tracks. So you go into smaller details, stuff that you don't normally see while you walk, while you drive out in the vehicle. So you look at the smaller details and you realize that it's not all about the big 5 animals. So after our 6 months, of course, we did a placement internship program. So Bushwise really helped us with this, and they sent the companies or lodges, they've sent our CVs through to them. They made sure we had an interview with them. They made sure that we are ready to go and everything. So I was placed at African Impact for my 6 months internship. And here was where I could implement all my skills that I've learned in the real guiding world. So all my soft skills, my knowledge, my driving skills, everything that I've learned from Bushwise, I could now implement this sort of like a trial period where you are still an intern and you can trial this, everything that you've learned over the past 6 months. And yeah, so that was really appreciated that we get this opportunity to go out and still learn and implement everything that we've learned. So how Bushwise has impacted my life. So Bushwise gave me the opportunities to become the best possible field guide that I can be. And I've learned life skills way beyond my years, and I made very good friends that became like a family to me. So as you can see, that is our girl group on the photo. We're just missing one girl, and these girls are like my sisters now. And yeah, and I adore them so much, and I love them so much. So today I work at Sabi Sabi Game Reserve, and it's all thanks to my Bushwise family, Sharon and Trevor, Lindy, Jack, everyone that helped me to get here, because I would never be able to be where I am today without them. All their hard work and the long hours and the support that they gave us is the reason why I am where I am today. Yeah. So how Bushwise also helped me to launch my career. So Bushwise helped launching my career by preparing me and teaching me skills that is needed to become the best possible guide that you can be. So they taught us soft skills, how to work with guests. It's about the little things that guests appreciate when you do go out with them, about listening in their conversations and hearing, oh, they would like to see a lion. And maybe the next day, without even asking, would you like to go see lions? You go out and see lions and surprise them with that. Or a little something that you heard, that their favorite drink is a dry rosé, and when they are at dinner, you ask them, can you give them this nice dry rosé? So it's small things like that Bushwise helped me to pick up on that, to listen out for that, even if you're not driving, while you're hosting your guests, to listen out for that small details. That is what makes you a great guide. To be a guide is very long and hard hours. So how Bushwise helped is they kept us in a routine that you would normally follow when you are a guide. So you're out early mornings and you walked, or you did a class in the afternoon after game drive, and then you went out again in the morning, in the afternoon. So, and this prepared me to know what to expect while I'm guiding, and that is how it is. So you go out very early in the morning and you go on a walk. After that, you have drop-offs, you have pickups and everything. So it was nice for Bushwise side to keep us in this routine, to make us to know what to expect when you are guiding. Yes. So with my placement, I had the opportunity, like I said, to implement all these things that I've learned over the past 6 months, and I still use all of the skills and the knowledge that I've learned from Bushwise today and from my trainers. So every day when I go out and drive, I remember one small detail that they taught me, and that small detail can make a drive from being an average drive to an excellent drive. Yeah, so it's all these small little details that Bushwise helped me. I don't even realize it until I'm out there and I'm like, oh, this is something that they taught me, and I can implement this. It's just amazing. So my plans for the future, like I said, I working at Sabi Sabi at the moment. So I just started at Sabi Sabi, and I will still be a guide here for a little while. But my future goal is to open up my own photography safari company, and to combine my passion for wildlife and guiding and share it with other people and help them to get the best experience possible. But like everything else, patience is key, and there's a lot of steps to take and to finally be at your end destination. And also with Sabi Sabi, they also give you the best opportunities. So it's wherever you are, they just help you grow as a guide, and I'm so grateful for Sabi Sabi as well for doing that for me, helping me to grow, pushing me to my limits, and giving me a free reins to grow as my own person and also as my own guide. Yes. So just a few photos from my time at Bushwise. So that was our little swimming pool. I think this was the first day that we met everyone, and the first day at camp. So we went out on drives. So this is our sleep house. So we literally slept under the stars. That night was a bit cloudy. You had to boil your water for coffee and for wash up. This is our track and sign assessment. We also did movie nights. We made some food. So we gave our chef a day off, and we decided we're gonna make everyone some food. There's our little team. Some of our girls. Yeah, so sometimes when a tree is knocked over, you have to get in there and get that tree out of the road. This was the cleanup crew of the bush. Some arts and crafts, drawing some tracks out to map out how the tracks are going. Here we go. So if you have any questions, my contact details is listed below. Please, you can email me at any time, and I will get back to you as soon as possible with any questions that you might have. I'm more than happy to answer them. Then I also hope that you choose Bushwise as your to help you through your guiding career. I am so glad that I made the choice to go with Bushwise for my guiding career. It was just the best possible experience, and the way they've looked after us and the way they made sure that everything was fine, and that, yeah, it was just amazing. So yeah, please enjoy the rest of your in virtual open day, and I hope to see you soon as Bushwise students. There we go. Enjoy the rest of your day. Just stop.
Awesome. So that was Danielle and a little bit about her experience doing a Bushwise program. She is, as she mentioned, currently working and living her best life. I've had chats with her, and she's just absolutely lovely and just absolutely loving life right now. So much so that she couldn't be here with us, unfortunately, but she did send us that video. We haven't had any more questions come up. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand over now to you, Kim, so we can learn more about Bushwise Online. And if anyone listening does have any questions while Kim is speaking, please do feel free to pop them into the Q&A box. I'll be responding to them while Kim talks, and then Kim will also be answering them live once she is finished. And then we'll wrap up and I'll touch on our special offer, and that'll be it for the day. So Kim, are you ready for this? Over to you.
Sure, no problem. Let me share my screen quickly. Great. Hopefully you can all see my screen by now. Great. So I'll be chatting to you about our online courses. The 3 online courses that we offer is a Nature Enthusiast online course. It's 8 weeks long. Then the Intro to Field Guiding, which is 4 weeks long. And then the last one, which is actually a combination of the top 2, is the full one, the Fugasa Field Guiding course for 12 weeks. So the team that you'll be dealing with, if you're just booking the online course, of course, me, I'll be doing the sales. So I'll be telling you more about the options, suggesting which one's going to be the best one for you based on your needs. And then once you have onboarded, Tammy will be your support coordinator. She'll help you with all the forms that you need to fill in, all the documents that is needed to register you with Fugasa, how to get onto the platform, how the Q&A works. She'll send you the links for the Zoom webinars and things like that. So once you've booked on, Tammy will be your go-to girl. Okay, so just some of the testimonials that we've got from some of our students. You can read it there. We were so happy to get this kind of feedback the first time we started doing online courses. They were really a manifestation of COVID. Online courses was always something that we were thinking of doing, but with COVID, it kind of fast-tracked us to do it because we weren't sure if any of our students were going to be able to get on campus. It actually turned out to be such an amazing thing for all of our students because they were so much more prepared when they did come to campus. They had a lot more knowledge, a lot more expectation. They could manage their time better. So it's something that we kept, and it's proved to be really, really valuable for us. So the Nature Enthusiast online course, who should be doing this online course? It's really for anybody who has the time and loves nature and wants to learn more about nature, for self-enrichment, to improve your knowledge overall. You don't have to do this if you want to become a field guide. This is something that anyone can do, but it does cover the modules that you would be doing as an apprentice field guide. And then it can also benefit anyone who is perhaps looking at a wildlife career or in a wildlife career. It gives you a lot of different knowledge of a lot of different subjects, from mammals to entomology to anthropology, natural things. I think botany is included, things like that. So it will cover a wide variety of topics, things that I've just already mentioned: geology, weather, climate, mammals, conservation management. A lot is spoken about biodiversity, and it really helps with the lectures and the assignments that you do and the Q&As that you do. And then there is an optional exam that you can do. Some people really like a piece of paper at the end of a course. So if they would like to do an exam, that is optional. But yeah, you're going to learn, valuable skills into nature conservation, animal behavior, and basically best practices in habitat control management. So really good for people going into conservation-based careers. So how does it work? The 8-week course includes 16 modules. When we say self-paced, it doesn't mean that you can do those modules whenever you like. Self-paced means you can do it in your own time over a week's period based on that module. So it's 10 hours per week that you need to allocate to yourself. So it could be an hour and a bit every day, or you can cram it all over a weekend. It all depends on your lifestyle and your availability. Some people take it and do something during their lunch break every day. Some people do it after dinner. Some people choose to do it all over a weekend. You will get a learner manual, a study book, and a workbook on a digital version that you'll be working through. Then we will have video presentations of various modules from our field trainers. That is the webinars. And then there's also quizzes and self-assessments you can do. The weekly live webinars are done twice, on a Tuesday and a Thursday at 5:30. It is delivered by one of our trainers, and it is pre-recorded in case you cannot make it if you've got prior engagements. There is a way that we track your progress through assignments, and it's not really compulsory if you're just doing this for fun, but if you are completing the full 12-week online course, it is going to be compulsory. Okay, so we've already touched on the different modules, but what were you going to learn at the end of the day? You're going to learn a lot about biodiversity. You're going to learn about specific natural sites and interpretation of that to your guests based on where you are in South Africa, reading and understanding animal tracks and animal behavior, which they are ultimately going to see in the bush when they see that. Bird species, helping you identify that is through song and appearance, and learning more about their habitats and the breeding methods, which you can interpret as well. And then transferable and valuable skills in nature conservation in general. So who can apply to this course? So anyone who's 16 and older, anyone who can speak, read, and write good English, because it is presented all in English. And you have to obviously have access to a laptop or device and have good internet connection for those Zoom webinars and to access the platform that we use, which is Canvas. So what is included in the price? Obviously, all the modules, the syllabus, the presentations, assignments, the Q&As, all of that. But on top of that, obviously, the registration fees to FAGASA, even though you're doing it for fun, even though the people that choose to do this course on their own are not needing a qualification, you still need to register with FAGASA for it. The manuals and the workbooks, as well as the study guides, are all included in digital formats. So the next online course is the Introduction to Field Guiding. So this course is not generally done on its own. It is done accompanying the Nature Enthusiast online course or in stages. So the reason we separate it is so that students can choose how and when they do it if they can't do the full 12-week course on its own. But basically on this online course, it's 4 weeks long. It's what you need to gain the full apprentice field guiding qualification in QF2. It includes all the guiding-based modules, which we'll go into more detail now, and it prepares you for your role as a field guide and how you should conduct a safari or walking trail safari. So I've spoken to you about what it includes, but it's basically everything that helps you to become a successful guide. How to give your guests an unforgettable experience, how to contribute towards the safari as a whole. Remember, they are on holiday. It's also going to give you valuable skills on how to approach, address, and convey this to your clients while keeping safety always in the back of your mind. The safety aspect to field guiding is very, very important. So the online course will again include lectures from field experts, and we'll give you exercise and assignments to complete, Q&As. The live webinars again will be something that is very, very valuable. And it's very, very helpful for people that are going to be dealing with guests in general, not necessarily field guiding, but it could be people that are doing perhaps hunting or lodge work or dealing with field rangers in reserve management, things like that. So all of those kind of skills will come into play. So this one is only 4 modules. How it works, you're going to follow the manuals and the study guides and the workbooks again that are on digital platforms. There'll be video presentations, live webinars, self-assessments, and quizzes that you can do. Again, 10 hours per week is recommended. Again, how you split that up is up to you. It depends on your preference and your lifestyle and when you actually have time. Each module is delivered by a professional trainer or an expert in the industry. We do have a lot of guest speakers that come and share their expertise that is invaluable. And it can also give you an idea of where you can end up as a career one day, starting off as a field guide. The modules will be graded, the assignments will be graded, and you can participate in pre and post surveys and contribute towards group discussions. And hopefully you have something good to say in those and can contribute to the group as a whole. So you will need to attend at least 50% of the live webinars and work through 100% of the material if you're wanting to get the full Apprentice Field Guiding NQF2 qualification online. So the type of things that you'll be learning is introduction to guiding and the skills you learn, how to develop a guided experience for your guest, how to conduct that guiding experience, radio procedures, which are really, really important. If you do end up on a game reserve, they each have their own protocols, which you'll be trained to do as well. Then you'll learn more about rifles and advanced rifle handling in terms of the theory side, how to manage emergency situations safely, viewing potentially dangerous animals, and at the end of the day, how to just become a field guide. The requirements for this one, you do need to be 18 and older. You do need to, again, be good in English and have access to a laptop and connection to the internet. What's included in this price, other than all the other things that I've discussed again, is the exam and moderation fee, the learner book and the manuals, which have already been included as well. You'll need all of this for when you're working through the online course. So the third online course is actually just the combination of the first two, the 8-week Nature Enthusiast online course and the 4-week Intro to Field Guiding. The reason we've separated it, like I said before, you can do it in stages or as your lifestyle allows, or if you can do it all in one for the full 12 weeks. If you do decide to do the full 12 weeks, you do not need to write the Nature Enthusiast online exam. Do not do that one. You will then do the full Vergas Apprentice Field Guide NQF2 online exam after you've completed the 12 weeks. You will get a certificate for the completion of both through Bushwise, and only once you've done your practical will you get the Vergas Apprentice Field Guide NQF2 qualification. Right, then there was a question earlier on how one does a practical after they've done the online course. So the first thing I want to touch on is that anyone who books a 6-month or year course gets the online course for free, valued at the price that it's selling at. So it's a great addition to the offer that we give. But we know that not everybody has the money, the time, or the finances to be able to do the year course. So this 35-day practical is an alternative to being able to do the practical. The main difference is that it doesn't include any of the extras that you would get on our 6-month course. You would not get your first aid training. You wouldn't do any tracking. You wouldn't do any birding, sleep outs, the snake handling, the rifle. None of that is included. This is just a compact version of the long-term course, and it includes 35 days of game drives and bushwalks only. No theory. The only theory that there is for you to fill in your workbooks during the time that you're there. It also includes, of course, food and accommodation while you're there, and all the practical training that is needed, and all the tips and tricks that the trainers have learned and what you're going to need to be able to pass your assessment. The practical assessment is then done at the end of this 35-day course option. The other big difference between this course and the long-term comprehensive course is there is no work placement. What we have found is that working experience is extremely important when recruiters are looking for field guides. They do want people that have qualified to have some kind of working experience. So that might be a bit of a disadvantage for people that are doing the online course and this practical course. But if this is the only way that you can manage to get this qualification, at least it is an option for you to do it this way. So here's another amazing testimonial from somebody who's done the online course. This person actually went on to come and do our practical course and is now working in the industry as well. So I did touch on some reasons of who should be choosing this option. And obviously this is people that have work or lifestyle commitments that does not allow them to take a whole year out of their life. It could also be somebody who wants to see what it's about, see what you are expected to learn as a field guide, what is included on the syllabus. Somebody who doesn't want to commit to a 6-month or year course without understanding what it's more about, and they don't want to commit to that financially either, and wanting it to be a waste of their time or money. So could be somebody who wants to maybe try out the 8-week Nature Enthusiast course, see how it goes, and then have the option to add on the 4-week, and then have the option to do the 35-day practical. We have a few students that are doing it that way. It's no point in doing the 35-day practical and then coming to do the 6-month or year course with us. You can maybe join in later from a week-to-week basis on a tracking course or a birding course. We're going to restructure our course in such a way that students have those options. Somebody who should also consider this course is probably somebody who can't afford the long-term full course, has financial constraints, has commitments to home loans and car payments and things like that. So those are the kind of people that should consider the online courses, and then or the practical if you want the full apprentice field guiding NQF2 qualification. So I hope that answers some of the questions that were posed to us earlier. But if you do have any other questions, please let us know. We'll be happy to answer them live. So please share that with us in the Q&A box now.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kim. While we wait for some questions, we did have 2 comments, both from audience members today who are very, very keen to sign up and start their Bushwise journey. So I have given them your email address, and we'll obviously be in touch with them next week. But just a great opportunity to mention that there will be a special offer email landing in everyone's inboxes at about 5 p.m. South African time. So just as this event wraps up, with all of our contact information, how to get a hold of Kim, and also how to take advantage of the special offer today. So if anyone else is wondering, how do we go about taking advantage of this, or how do I get in touch with someone, or if I have any more questions, who do I speak to, all of that information will be emailed to you as we wrap up here today, and you'll be able to get in touch with Kim and have all the questions answered. Right, I'm not seeing any more questions come through.
Well, that's great. That means that hopefully I answered all the questions during that presentation. But yeah, what I found, Amanda, is that having all these different options can be quite confusing. The thing that I love to talk to people about when they are interested is, first of all, where do they see themselves working? Do they want to actually work as a field guide? Then secondly, how they're going to get there. Like I said, it's got a lot to do with time commitment, financial commitments, what they're wanting to gain, where they're wanting to go, and where they want to be. Obviously, for people that are wanting the experience, there is the option of just coming for the 35-day course for fun as well. I forgot to mention that as well. Somebody that wants to come, that doesn't want the qualification, but wants to have 35 days in the bush, 2 game drives every single day, that is open for people to do as well. But it is nice to have these options. But at the end of the day, both courses will give you the apprentice field guiding qualification to be able to become a field guide. It just depends on how and when they do all those extra things.
Amazing. That is amazing. And I think the 35-day course is also such a great option for people who are perhaps bound by work constraints and not able to get, 6 months off of a job, and want to kind of see if this is something that they would be interested in doing kind of long term, but don't want to quit their day job to do something
100%.
that's maybe not, for them.
Yes.
So I think having that option to do the studies kind of at your own pace and your own time, and then do the 35-day course. Out of interest, would it be possible for somebody to do the 35-day practical before they did the online course?
No, not at all. So one of the requirements, and thanks for bringing that up actually, one of the requirements, if they want the full qualification, is that they have to have done and passed the exam. Whether they've done it at a facility every 3 months, there's a place that they can go and write it, or online, and they have to have passed that. So they can rewrite if they fail. That's not a train smash, but they do need to have passed the online exam. That's one of the requirements. But again, if somebody's just coming for fun, they wouldn't have needed to do that.
Awesome. Cool. We've got some more questions coming in. Gerald would like to know, well, he says he's interested in learning to be a field guide. He wants to know, let's say he's passed the online part, can he choose when to do the practical? And then that's the first part of the question. And then the second part of the question is, does he also get his certificate in completing the 35-day course? And then he would like information on pricing.
All right, great question, Gerald. Okay, so I'm glad you brought that up again, because I forgot to mention that in the presentation. But the time that we require students to apply for the 35-day course and the time that they've ended the online course is 6 months. So you have 6 months to book that practical course. Unfortunately, it's just because of updated information, the new theory. It does change a little bit with FAGASA, so you need to be up to date as possible. So there's a 6-month gap between finishing the online course and then starting your 35-day practical. In terms of prices, Gerald, I will rather email you directly, and also how to apply. So to apply for the online course, we just need your full name, your date of birth, your email address and contact number. You need to accept our terms and conditions and what payment plan you want. We then send you the quotes and banking details based on the payment plan that you want. And then you confirm. Then you will get access to the platform, how to register, and how it's going to work from our support coordinator, Tammy, on the start date. And she will help you throughout the 12-week online course. Once you've passed the online exam, you can then let me know what start date you want to do the 35-day practical course. I've got all your details for that. So then again, it's just a matter of setting up a payment plan for you based on what you want to do and pay that off. We just need full payment before the start date, and then you can get set on your 35-day practical component. And yes, you do get the full FAGASA certificate once you've passed the assessment, as well as the Bushwise certificates for the online course and the practical.
Great, thank you, Kim. Just quickly on that, can we discuss, I just want to talk about payment plans. You mentioned payment plans, and I think that is something that's so valuable, because often, you know, these sorts of things really do require can feel like a huge amount of money kind of upfront, and not everyone has just huge amounts of money lying around. So payment plans is obviously a way to pay this off kind of over time. Could you give us a bit more information about that?
Yes, so for the online courses, there's a small deposit amount. It varies based on currency, but it's probably to the value of 2,000 Rand deposits. And then there's an option of 250% installments. The first is required 2 months before the start date, the second one a month before the start date. And then the most flexible one is equal installments leading up to the start date. So that's really nice if you're booking quite far in advance, because then you can get up to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 installment amounts, as long as we have payment in full a month before the start date, because that's when we need to register our students with FAGASA. Then for the 35-day practical, as well as the 23-week and 50-week comprehensive courses, there's an option of a deposit and 250% installments. The first installment is due 20 weeks prior to the start date, and the second one is due 12 weeks prior to the start date. And then the most popular one is a 30% deposit and then equal installments leading up to the course start date. It's normally 6 installments, but listen, we are realistic. Like you said, people don't have these large amounts of money around. So we are very flexible, and we can customize payment plan options for students. The only thing that we require is that full payment is made a month before the course starts.
Awesome. So would it be an option if somebody wanted to book, say, 2 to 3 years in advance? Would they be able to do that and then pay their program off consistently for that period of time?
100%. We can set up a payment plan for all of our students, even up to 20 installments if they like. And that would be on automatic deduction from credit cards or an EFT on the last day of every month.
Okay, fantastic. I think that's such a great option, because I think once you've made that commitment, it's like yeah, you've made that commitment, so you're holding, as opposed to just saving, like in a little savings account or whatever. You've made that commitment, so there's already that buy-in, and you're kind of like, now, like, cool, I've committed. But you've got that period of time to pay over. And also, does that then mean that if somebody did that, they would then lock in the current prices for the program for 2 years' time?
100%. So the day you pay your deposit, the current rates that are advertised would be valid. And of course, there are often scholarship discounts available for our courses, sometimes up to 50,000 Rand. So we offer that once or twice a year. Management makes the call very short notice, so I wouldn't know which month that would be offered, but it is advertised. So please keep your eye out for those. And then I see there's a question from Sibusiso. I'm quickly going to answer that if you don't mind, Amanda. He's busy with his application. Yes, you can scan and email me your documents, Sibusiso, with the questionnaire. I will then get them from you on Monday, and we can arrange a date and time for the interview.
Fantastic. Right. And then Jared is asking about registration for today's online open day, which I will be discussing very shortly. I just want to give everyone else a final moment to ask any questions before I launch into exactly what our special offer is today. So if there is anyone who has any further questions, this is the 11th hour. Jump now.
I see Gerald has asked a very good question there, actually. Can he rewrite the online course if he fails? You most definitely can. You have, I think, 2-3 times to be able to rewrite until you pass. And you do not have to pay for the online course again to rewrite the exam. You only have to pay the exam fee with Vergasa, which ranges between 600 and 900 Rand, depending on if it's the Nature Enthusiast exam or the Apprentice Field Guide NQF2 exam. Adrian, can you pay over 20 months? You most definitely can pay over 20 months. Like we said, the further in advance you book, the more installments you have, the more affordable it can be for you to afford this course, most definitely.
Awesome. And then we have a question from Dominique, which I think we might need a little more information on. But Dominique says, I've already enrolled to do the 23, I assume, week course next year, but I'm only turning 20 in October next year. Will I still be able to take the internship offer after the course, despite the fact that I don't have a PDP, public driver's license?
Yes, great question. Dominique, yes, Marie booked you on. She's onboarded you. I'm sure she explained this in the interview to you nicely, but great question again. You will definitely be able to do the 6-month internship. The only difference is if you're not 21 by the time you do your internship, it will be a non-guiding internship. So I'll have to just double check if you book for January or July. I would probably say, I mean, you're still only going to be 20 in October, but you'd be then closer to 21 if you started the July course. You would do what we refer to as a non-guiding placement. So it's anything that doesn't involve taking paying guests on safari. Could be animal rehabilitation, animal research, monitoring, anti-poaching, ecotourism, hospitality, anything like that. We can't guarantee certain placements because it all depends on availability at the time and what we can arrange for you that time. And also if you go through the interviewing process and you're successful. But I will be explaining this to you a little bit more before you start your course, because I'll be your support coordinator up until you start. So please email me any other questions you have. And we'll also be doing an expectation call before you start. So we'll address all of those things again.
Great. We've got a couple more questions. Kyla would like to know, they say, once I complete the 50-week qualification level 1, do I study the level 2 online course while I work?
So this is also another great question. I think I'm going to leave Darryn to answer this one. Thank you for popping up, Darryn. I think he's actually done this in person, so he would be the best person to answer that question.
Okay, so with the once you've completed the NQF2 or the Apprentice Field Guide course with FAGASA as it's now known, you need to log 260 days of work experience. So basically a calendar year that excludes your leave periods and things like that. So once you've logged 260 days of working, of which your 6 months of, or the other 23 weeks of placement time can be included in that, you can basically start, as soon as you start your placement, you can start logging working experience that goes towards those 260 days. Once you've done that, then you can apply to FAGASA to write what is then called the Field Guide or NQF4 qualification.
Great, thank you. That is awesome. And then we have a comment here, a question from Adrian. I think I'm saying that correctly, I'm not sure, I'm sorry if I'm not. Who says, regarding the previous question, is this also possible if you come in person to study? Adrian, I'm not sure I fully understand. If you want to elaborate further, please do.
I think maybe he's asking if he can do it on campus rather than an online course. So I just want to say that even though this online course is compulsory and included for students on the 6-month and year course, all the theory that they're going to do is done on campus as well, in person with trainers and accompanied with practical training so that it can stick in the minds of students. Because I do know, if you anything like me, I do not like online courses. I prefer in-person interactions. So I'm a perfect example of somebody who wouldn't really like that, but we understand that a lot of the people prefer the hands-on. So yes, you can still do all the theory on campus with the trainers and include that with the practical training. So it's just, it can be looked at as a duplication once you're on campus, but remember, we are training at a higher level on campus to an NQF4 level, and then including the practical training on top of that. So the 12-week online course for those doing the long-term course is going to just give you that foundational knowledge. It's going to prepare you a little bit more as to what to expect, and perhaps focus a little bit more on campus with the modules that you were struggling with, and help you improve on those marks with assignments and things like that.
Awesome. Yeah, I remember at our last open day, somebody was asking, well, they were saying, you know, they're doing their FAGASA, but they're doing it by themselves, kind of online, and they're just really struggling. And would they be able to come to Bushwise and do it there, because they felt they would learn better in an environment where there was kind of more hands-on practical experience and trainers to teach and just bring the subject to life. I feel like some people are really just wired that way. I know I'm exactly the same as you, Kim. I'm like, don't give me a book, I'm just showing me in real life. So yeah, super valuable to know what kind of person you are, and yes, we can 100% accommodate that.
The other thing I actually just wanted to mention as well is that we do have a certain expectation or level of being able to apply for our courses in terms of academic levels and things like that. So somebody could have perhaps struggled with matric and not perhaps qualified to apply straight away, or somebody struggling with mental health disabilities, physical disabilities. They don't know if they would be accepted on the course, things like that. The online course is a great way to navigate through those things to see if you can actually pass the academic side of it. So often, if you don't qualify for the 6-month or year course, we will say to students, okay, we're going to let you sign up for the 12-week online course. Let's see if you pass the exam. If you pass the exam, we would then be willing to take you on a 6-month course. But these kind of things are very isolated, but I want students to understand that we are open to anyone who wants to book, and try our best to help them pass at the end of the day.
Fantastic. Yeah, I think that's, I'm not sure if we've covered it this time around, but I think the matriculant pass rate, or the high school graduation for international audience members, pass rate is 60% to be able to sign up for.
Correct. And if students haven't reached the 60% average, we have T's and C's attached to that, where they can still come and do the 6-month course. The placement is just not guaranteed. It's something that they would have to work towards. A lot of them prove us wrong and do super well, and are able to then move on to do their placements.
Awesome. And I think it's so fantastic that there is that wiggle room in that grace, because I don't know if you're anything like me, but I did not enjoy school at all. I was just completely disinterested in the subjects. And I think that a lot of people who have the capabilities, 110%, are just struggle to really apply themselves to the specific subjects that they teach at school, because they're just not interested. And perhaps doing a Bushwise online course, they would absolutely, knock it out of the park, and then it would be super easy for us to be like, absolutely, come on board. We've got this. So
exactly.
So awesome. Well, we haven't had any more questions come through. So I think, Kim, unless there's anything else you want to add, I might just talk about the special offer. Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for the talk, Kim. It's been super super interesting and just very enlightening and informative.
Only a pleasure.
So really appreciate your time, and I'm now going to discuss our special offer moment of the day. So let me share my screen quickly with everyone. So going back to basic, and so as I've said a couple of times, we are we will be emailing you a special offer. The email should land in your inbox in about 3 minutes time if our systems are up and working as they should be. So basically our special offer is a dramatically reduced deposit. Kim did speak about deposits earlier of only 8,500 South African rands. The currency equivalents for other regions are listed there below, so you can just quickly take a little squiz at that. And this deposit would need to be paid before midnight on Sunday the 31st of July, so that's the last day of this month, so you've got a couple days to think about it in order to secure your booking and this reduced deposit. And then obviously with payment, terms and instructions and all that sort of thing, you would just chat to Kim. There are also limited additional scholarships available for July 2022 and January 2023 start dates. And those are essentially, we refer to them as scholarships, but it is essentially a discount or a certain amount off your program over and above being able to pay a reduced deposit to secure your spot and take advantage of this offer. So yeah, the special offer will be in your inbox. This recording will also be emailed to you on Monday morning. So if you want to rewatch anything, or you perhaps missed a section, or even if you want to share this perhaps with a friend or family member, you will be more than able to do so on Monday morning. And then I've included a little QR code over there if you would like to pop across through to our website and just kind of check anything out, or if you want to research anything that perhaps you haven't. Yeah, you can do that there. That's a quick link. And then also we've got Kim's details over there. So it's kim@bushwise.co.za if you have any questions. There's also a contact number there and our website address if you would like to pop across to our website. So I think that is about it for today. I see we've got one, it's actually a comment. This has been amazing. Thank you so much, Amanda, Kim, and Darren. I'm even more excited to start this new adventure. Thank you so much, Carla. We love that feedback. We really appreciate it. We do put a lot of work into these open days, so it's always wonderful to hear that they are valuable to our audience members. And yeah, we love doing them as well. We find it very exciting. So thank you so much. I think I'm going to wrap it up there now. So huge thank you everybody for attending today. Really, really appreciate it. I know it's a Saturday and I know people are busy, but yeah, I really hope that you found it valuable. If you have any further questions, please just pop Kim an email. Otherwise, just respond to the email that lands in your inbox in the next minute or so. And with that, I am actually going to play out with a little video once I find the video. Right. So yeah, that is it, everyone. Thank you so much for joining, and I very much look forward to hopefully hearing all about your Bushwise journey down the road. That's it from me. Thanks all.
Bushwise Field Guides is an all-encompassing field guide course which gives any student huge experience. The idea is that they come with all-encompassing qualifications that they can hopefully get into a job.
The course that we offer is very, very comprehensive, and also we consult with the lodges themselves as to what they're looking for into their guides, and based on that we include that on our courses.
I love nature and I love working with people. So that's actually where my interest grew. I just want to do something or find a particular career in nature.
The students come to Bushwise, I think, not expecting the amount of knowledge they're going to get.
So our modules include things anywhere from geology of the area, climate, mammals, mammal calls, animal behavior.
We do advanced 4x4, we do presentation skills, we do rifle handling and shooting skills.
Really nice that each week we got either one or a number of modules and then a test weekly, because then it did prepare us for the final Fugaza exam.
You know, you're continually learning. You're not just here in the classroom learning stuff. You're out and about in the bush.
And you're not just chasing after the big five, you're stopping in the trees and the flowers and all the little bugs and everything. So that was really awesome because I'm a visual learner and I have to see things to understand them.
I've learned a lot more than I thought I would be able to learn.
On the campus, we're trying to make it as comfortable as possible for the students, a home away from home.
Because it's not necessarily the easiest thing to come out as an international, but to have somewhere where you know that you'll be safe and with a lot of people that are doing the same thing with the same passion. I think for me that's what appealed me to it.
It's not you on your own struggling to understand something or remember something. Everyone is helping everyone.
We're family, we become a family, and with the trainers, what I love about them, they're open, you're free to ask any question whenever you want.
We're teaching them concepts and tips and tricks and knowledge that we've gained over years and years and years.
I have more belief in myself. That's the thing that motivated me the most.
Being a guide or working at research entities, a big element, if not the biggest element, is actually working with people.
It's exciting because you get to tell people what they don't know at all, and seeing the faces like so surprised, like wow.
And I think our main goal is to create teachers which will be able to go out and actually keep conservation going.
It's one of the reasons why we have Bushwise. We try to not only train them as guides with a piece of paper, but for them to go out, be ambassadors, and be responsible and set an example.
A lot of jobs require you to have work experience, and without that, often you aren't able to get jobs. So we offer the 6-month placement, which enables people to work in the industry to really get that foot in the door.
So they give you like a jump start into the industry.
I can't wait now, I can't wait. I'm not looking forward to leaving this place, but that's when the real stuff begins.
Getting excited just thinking about it.